Welcome to Your School News. I'm Milo Kenny.
And I'm Johanna Carey. Now let's get right into the news. For the week of March 16th, 2020, today's top headlines include School District Response to Coronavirus, NHCS holds monthly meeting, Board of Education meeting, and famous actor visits Wilmington for upcoming musical.
We begin now with breaking news. As news continues to spread around the United States about the coronavirus, New Hanover County Schools is continuing to monitor information from federal, state, and local health officials. We want to assure the public that the district is being proactive in efforts to help prevent the spread of illness among our students and staff. NHCS Interim Superintendent Dr. Del Burns says, quote, "We are constantly monitoring guidance regarding COVID-19. The situation is extremely fluid and changing rapidly. The district has open lines of communication with health and county officials regarding potential actions and next steps occurring within Cape Fear region. NHCS will be utilizing the district website, Blackboard Connect, district social media, NHCS TV, and our internal email to communicate updates," end quote.
We want to remind everyone that we are doing everything possible to keep our campuses and buildings safe for everyone. We are asking students, staff, and the community to follow good respiratory etiquette and personal hygiene to prevent the spread of any illnesses. Some tips from health officials include: wash hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds each time. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with people who are ill. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Do not reuse tissues after coughing, sneezing, or blowing your nose. Clean and disinfect surfaces that are frequently touched, like your phone, tablet, countertops, and daily work surfaces. Stay home and away from others when you are sick. Practice social distancing by using fist pumps or elbows instead of shaking hands or hugs. For more information, please visit nhcs.net.
The Wilson Center is thrilled to announce the premiere concert performance of the new musical Mr. Holland's Opus, created by Tony Award and Drama Desk Award-winning actor B.D. Wong, known for his acting roles in Law & Order SVU, Mr. Robot, Father of the Bride, Mulan, and Jurassic Park. Tony Award-nominated composer Wayne Barker from Peter and the Starcatcher on Broadway. This unique concert experience will be held at the Wilson Center at Cape Fear Community College on Saturday, April 18th at 7:30 p.m., starring B.D. Wong in the title role and featuring Joshua Castile from Spring Awakening Broadway Revival. The exciting new full-length Broadway-style musical is adapted from the beloved 1995 MGM motion picture Mr. Holland's Opus, about a musician who begrudgingly becomes a high school music teacher but ultimately changes the lives of countless students. Mr. Holland's Opus has been workshopped in Wilmington over several stages with local talent in 2019 and 2020, and will culminate in this inspiring one-night-only concert on the stage of the Wilson Center. The evening will also feature more than 100 high school musicians with their band and choir directors, the best and brightest of Wilmington musical theater actors of all ages, the CFCC American Sign Language Interpretation Program, the Wilmington Youth Symphony, the Tallis Chamber Ensemble, and many more. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime celebration of teachers and arts education.
NHCS TV recently covered the Regional Science Olympiad competition at UNCW Live on air and online. We broadcasted the many different events that were happening, like Right Stuff, a simple plane construction event, the Boomlever, an event where you have to build a structure that must attempt to hold as much weight as possible, and Mousetrap Car, where contestants must construct a vehicle design that is powered by a mousetrap that pulls a string to propel the vehicle forward. There were many other amazing events that happened, as well as the culminated in the wonderful award ceremony that took place after all the events had wrapped up. More than 200 awards were handed out. One team left the competition extremely happy, Wilmington Academy of Arts and Sciences, won many events, leading them to a solid first place overall victory. While there can only be one winner, every team and student that participated should be very proud of what they were able to accomplish and for being able to complete in such an amazing event.
Several people from around the community came out to Carolina Beach Schools Read Across America Week. Carolina Beach Mayor Leanne Pierce, read to Miss Jackson's kindergarten students. Kids say it was a wonderful experience getting to hear stories from the mayor. Right down the hall, Deputy Rocky read to Miss McCroskey's kindergarten class. Read Across America Week coincides with Dr. Seuss's birthday and began in 1997. The Board of Education recently held their monthly meeting with the board notes is YNCN reporter Bradley Meadows.
The March Board of Education meeting featured a large call to the audience and a closed session in the middle of the meeting. Let's get right to the board notes and see what else was on the agenda. The meeting started off with information regarding health precautions and funding available for sanitation supplies. Then, under recognition of achievement, there was a community partnership with New Hanover Regional Medical Center, followed by the school showcase, which featured Holly Shelter Middle School. The call to the audience lasted unusually long and included a break being called halfway through the list of speakers. The board then moved to a lengthy closed session which lasted for close to 90 minutes. After the closed session, there was an administrative recommendation by Interim Superintendent Dr. Dell Burns, which was approved. Board member Nelson Bollier then gave the Head Start Liaison Report and Expenditure Report. There was a second information section heading with several agenda items. A regional skills gap presentation by the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce, safety initiatives, a Title IX update, a quarterly budget summary, and a discussion about Policy 5400. There was no superintendents, board chairpersons, or committee reports. Under consensus items, Dr. Burns presented personnel for approval, and Mary Hazel Small presented budget amendments for approval. There were no items under old business. Under new business, there were 2 items for discussion. A proposal for June summer school for math and science by Dr. LaShawn Smith, and Wayne Bullard presented a school technology resolution. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 14th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can watch the Read broadcast Tuesday nights at 6 p.m., Friday mornings at 8 a.m., and Sundays at 1 p.m. Board meetings can also be watched online at www.nhcs.net. That's your board notes for March.
Now don't go away, we'll be right back. Your school news continues on Spectral Cable Channel 5 and online with Apple TV and Roku. Also, make sure to look for our red and blue logo for all the latest news in high definition on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Welcome back to Your School News. I'm Johanna Carey.
And I'm Milo Kenny.
There's a lot going on Twitter these days, and with our NHCS chat hashtag, you can join the conversation too. Right now it's time for our What's Tweeting segment, all the latest NHCS news and photos that are creating a buzz on Twitter.
Students in Miss Griffith's class at Isaac Bear have recently gone all out to celebrate Women's History Month. The students each created life-size suffragettes to bring knowledge and recognition to Women's History Month and the 100th anniversary of women getting the right to vote. Suffragettes are women who are seeking rights to vote through organized and peaceful protests. Famous suffragettes are Emmeline Pankhurst, who became Britain's most prominent suffragette in 1903 after she founded the WSPU, Julia Howe, Ida B. Wells, Victoria Woodruff, and Alice Paul. Without these very courageous women, women's voting rights may have not existed today, or women may not have much power. Thank you to all the women who stood up for equality and women's rights.
Students across America have recently dressed up as their favorite characters on Book Character Day. Students at Mary C. Williams, Wrightsboro Elementary, and Murrayville Elementary have all dressed up to show mad love and respect to their favorite book characters. Some students dressed as the lady who swallowed a fly, Cat in the Hat, Mario, elves, the Grinch, and much more. Students in Miss Francie's class made Oobleck and even read Bartholomew.
Congratulations to Roland Grice Middle School for becoming the 2021 Battle of the Books champions. The contest featured 22 books, 8 schools, but there could only be one winner, and the Knights pulled off the victorious win. They placed first with 143 points, while Murder Grove placed second with 108, and Noble placed third with 101 points. Congrats to all the students that participated.
Students in Miss Dermont's class at Ashley High School recently learned about the historical events that happened during the time of the Crusades. After the informal lecture, the students watched a documentary about the modern-day struggles that people who live in Israel face day by day. The purpose of the documentary was to analyze how historical events are still reflected in the world today, and how important it is to be able to acknowledge real-life problems and events. Now let's check in and get an update from the news team over at NASA for the latest science and space news with this special feature report.
The next space station crew trains for launch. A SpaceX Dragon delivers more science. And celebrating the life of Katherine Johnson. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. The next crew headed to the International Space Station, including our Chris Cassidy, conducted final qualification training for their mission this past week in Star City, Russia. Cassidy, Anatoly Ivanishin, and Ivan Wagner, both of Roscosmos, are scheduled for launch to the station on April 9th from Kazakhstan. Our Jessica Meir, Andrew Morgan, and others already aboard the station welcomed a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft on March 9th. The Dragon delivered supplies and scientific experiments, including a study on how microgravity could affect the intestines of astronauts on long-term missions to the Moon and Mars, and an experiment that could lead to regenerative treatment of various heart conditions in astronauts, as well as others here on Earth. On March 12th, we announced that the first 2 scientific investigations to fly aboard our Gateway will be an instrument suite to observe solar particles and solar wind from the sun, and an experiment to help us understand how to keep astronauts safe from radiation. Acting as an outpost in lunar orbit, the Gateway will support surface missions on the Moon and pave the way for the human exploration of Mars.
It is my honor, my privilege, and my responsibility to be here today as we acknowledge and celebrate the incredible life and legacy of Katherine Johnson.
Former astronauts, dignitaries, and others inspired by mathematician and space pioneer Katherine Johnson attended a celebration of her life on March 7th. Johnson passed away February 24th at 101 years old. She and others performed critical calculations in the early days of human spaceflight, as chronicled in the best-selling book and hit movie, Hidden Figures.
Mom, you're taking your final trip. Safe landing. We love you.
NASA photographer Joel Kowski captured images of the recent supermoon as it hovered in the skies over Washington, D.C. overnight March 9th into March 10th. A supermoon occurs when the moon's orbit is closest to Earth. The moon will appear slightly closer the next time it reaches supermoon status on April 7th. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
This is your school news on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for all the latest news online at nhcs.net. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And for the latest weather conditions, keep it right here for your exclusive Weather Plus forecast. That's on the screen when you need it.
New Hanover County School staff have been working diligently to monitor the situation regarding coronavirus in this community, in the state, and the nation. We've also been reviewing daily the guidance from the CDC, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, and the New Hanover County Health Department. In addition, I've been in contact with many local officials, including the county manager, the president of the community college, the chancellor of the university, and the CEO of the hospital to learn from them their potential actions regarding the coronavirus. We're working daily. We have a core team that meets every day to review the current situation and consider responses that are necessary to keep students, employees, families, and the community safe.